And we're back with Deathbattle prediction. I am 3-4 again, everyone. I got this one right. Yeah! And I got it right, honestly, for the reasons I had specified in my video. I'm like, yeah, when you really think about it, there's a power difference between the two characters. The actual fight was, I'll admit, it wasn't the best one of the season, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was cool seeing some of the stuff we saw in there. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't, like, god-awful. But, I don't know, some of the animation seemed a little janky, if I'm going to be honest. But, we now got a repeat of a classic, Link versus Cloud. And I think this is one where a lot of people, or Deathbattle got a lot of flack for the decision that Cloud lost the original one. Because this was really early on in Deathbattle, when they were still working things out. And let's be honest, they're not the most perfect. Deathbattle is just another channel. It's just another Versus series. It just happens to be among the most popular of the Versus series. That's why so many people give eyes to it. But they can make mistakes. They can be wrong. And let's be honest, when it came to like the Superman Goku one, they can show biased. Now, with the Link versus Cloud one, I honestly think that they just did that one incorrectly. Even I'm like, really? Cloud loses that fight? So the question is now, do I think, knowing what I do more now about both Link and Cloud, do I think Link still wins, or do I think Cloud wins? And why do I think that? Well, I'm personally gonna lean more towards Cloud in this one. Understood the reasoning in the original one. I do. But at the end, there is, what's the best way to put it? There's a lot of evidence to suggest that the way they were depicting it, like Link's strength, for instance, made absolutely no sense. All that. Cloud, though, was someone, I mean, obviously he's the main character of a lot of the Final Fantasy games, if not all of them. And, you know, he regularly has to go up against individuals like Sephiroth. I don't know all the Final Fantasy characters, but, like, Sephiroth is honestly, because here's the thing. It's kind of like the Ryu Akuma comparison. They are going to compare him to Sephiroth as he is one of the either the main baddies in some of the games, or he has to beat him in like the movies, and he did beat him in the movie. And Advent Children, that's one of the few ones I actually watched that I remember it. I can never remember the guy in the red. Hold on, I should remember to look up the guy who was in the red. Final Fantasy Advent Children, the film. I actually really like this film. Who is that guy in the red? That's the thing I'm trying to remember. Who is the guy in the red? Let's see. Was it Klaus T. Lockhart, Gainsby? Is it Vincent Valentine? I want to say it's Vincent Valentine. Yep, Vincent Valentine. Yeah, I love that guy. Man, Vincent Valentine rules. Does anyone have a cell phone? She casually walks in there like, yeah, what up? I got you back. She's like, Vince Valentine rocks. But yes, Cloud can go casually go. Well, not casually. He does still have difficulty with Sephiroth, but he has beaten Sephiroth before. So, but I mean, at the same time, you can make the argument, well, Link's beaten Ganon. Yeah, but the difference between the two of them is great, because Link's Triforce isn't of wisdom and it isn't of power, it's of courage. Now, actually, that's a good question we need to bring up, because me looking up the Triforce of Courage may change my attitude on this. Triforce of Courage. Triforce of Courage. Because all the Triforces do lend a certain type of power. So the Triforce, what do each of these Triforces actually do? Okay, the Triforce of Power. Now, that one is a pretty obvious one. Power, Wisdom. Now, okay, Courage. Triforce of Courage embodies the essence of the goddess of courage, Fioria, the source of all life. The Triforce of Courage is more than a mere symbol. We know that. Who is usually its bearer. Though Link is not skilled sorcerer like Ganondorf or Zelda, the Triforce of Courage, like the other Sacred Triangles, grant him untold mystical abilities, one of them being protection against magic. To be fair, though, does the materia in Final Fantasy count as magic? As far as I know, it does not. So that shouldn't be an issue. the Triforce Twilight Prince. That, I know it, and there you go, right off the bat. That's one of the reasons it can protect him against magic. That's one of the reasons he can like go toe to toe with Ganondorf is because Ganondorf's spells don't work really at all against him because he's immune to magic. In Twilight Princess, the Triforce of Courage, from the beginning of the game is already visible in Link's hand. One of the known effects of the Triforce of Courage is the said game is transforming Link into a wolf instead of into a soul like everyone else from being okay. That's interesting. It can also repel the Shadow Beast who attempt to attack him. It would mean nothing in the fight. Speculation exists that states that Triforce also grants the bearer the ability to master any weapon they touch. This theory is circumstantially proven by the fact Link always seems to know how to use a weapon with no training. See, that could play a factor if he got a hold of Cloud's Buster Sword. Now, granted, it is still a sword, but it's a huge-ass sword. And if he's got materia in there, that means he didn't instantly know how to use that weapon, and that could be a problem. But that's something we do have to take into consideration. Triforce is not mentioned in the original Legend of Zelda, later introduced, later blah blah blah, Inca Trials. So yeah, after Ganon sealed, so it does seem like its main ability seems to be protection from magic, and to turn Link into a wolf, and to repel Shadow Beasts, and the possibility that allows him to master any weapon. So, see, the resisting and repelling magic and Shadow Beasts and all that turning the wolf, that's not going to be a damn thing in the fight. But the mastering of any weapon, if they do go that route in the fight, which they are probably going to take every consideration, because this is one they're redoing, they are probably going to take that in consideration. If he got a hold of Cloud's Buster Sword with materia in it, and did know how to wield it effectively, and had the strength to wield, that's going to be the question if he has the strength to wield it. That puts Cloud at that would put, does Cloud get Link's Master Sword, which allegedly is indestructible, along with his shield? Oh. See, I initially was like going for Cloud, but I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Now I'm thinking on it more and more. I'm like, ooh, no. Link does possess enough tricky nature stuff that it could pose a problem for Cloud. But the other thing we have to factor in is that Cloud is a trained soldier. He's basically kind of a super soldier. So he's already, yes, Link has been reincarnated God knows how many times. So he's got all that knowledge. But in terms of like a straight combatant, like a fighter, Cloud is probably the better fighter and just warrior overall. Especially since we have to keep in mind that because of the Triforce of Courage, the reason he's able to take on someone like Ganon is because he's able to basically repel the magic that Ganon uses. Whereas Cloud has to go head on with Sephiroth. Cloud's ability, his greatest ability is the fact that he is a swordsman. Though he fell short of the standards of cadets admitted into the soldier program, swordsmanship nonetheless was impressed one of the Turks. It's also a result of Mako's experimentation by Hojo. He's greatly enhanced as a super soldier. He's got enhanced speed, physical, all that. In time, Link technically has that too. In time, Cloud developed his own skill on his own, independent of Zack. He has many swordsmanship techniques, seen most prominently in limit breaks, in which Cloud performs a quick succession of powerful strikes with his sword. Cloud's ability also allows him to use magic with his sword. Okay, see, it is classified as magic. Seen in the form of firing blasts from his sword with a blade beam, summoning meteors with a meteoran or tornado. Cloud potentially using spells, being well versed in how to use materia. See, the materia part I don't think is technically magic, but they used magic as a terminology here. And Deathbattle is going to take that into consideration. So, crap. Link's still probably the physically stronger without any sort of enhancements like Link has. And probably even more skilled as a swordsman. But the fact that Link's probably going to resist the magic, I want to be at least even by the time, because there's been 7 so far. I'm 3 and 4 right now. I'd like to be 4 and 4 here. I'd like to be just even on. I want to say Cloud. I like Cloud better. But that damn, is it resistance or immunity? Let me double check that real quick. Because if it's immunity, then I'll give you my straight out answer there. Power, courage. Let's see here. Beginning of the visible hand. One one of them being protection against magic. Protection, though, isn't immunity. And we know for a fact, like, Triforces can be overwhelmed, overtaxed. We saw that with Ganon versus Dracula. I'm probably gonna be eating dirt on this one, or eating crow on this one. I'm gonna go Cloud. He's the superior swordsman. He's naturally more skilled, I think, in swordsmanship. And just naturally stronger without any sort of enhancement that Link would carry with him. I think he just has more overall battle experience, whereas Link has been reincarnated multiple times. But straight out battle experience, I mean, maybe it's tough to say. Ooh, yeah, it's a tough one. It is. I will lean towards Cloud though. Mostly because I like Cloud a bit more, but also because I'm like, okay, he's stronger, faster, naturally. He's a better swordsman, and maybe that his magical attacks will be able to overwhelm the Triforce. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I want to hope. So this is one of the ones where I'm like, it probably is going to be Link, but I feel like maybe it will be Cloud this time. Like when they redo these things, like it's usually the same person who ended up winning. Samus versus Boba Fett. It was still Samus who won. Goku versus Superman, even though I don't agree with it, it was still Superman who won. But there were exceptions. Mario versus Sonic, Mario won that. But they specified they were using certain versions of the characters. They had specified that. Trying to think if they did any other redos. I don't think they did any other redos. Maybe I'm missing one. But yeah, so yeah, okay. So I will say Cloud. Probably gonna eat a lot of crow in this one. Is what it is. But yeah, so Cloud, final answer. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. Thanks for watching. I'll see you folks next time. Later. Oh, and yep. Hit the bell. Don't worry. Who would win will be up later today.